Episode 10. You're the best invention.
Hey guys, welcome back to Kid Pack. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jack.
I can't believe we're on episode 10 already. I'm really excited about this one. It's going to be packed full of cool and fun facts.
You're not going to want to miss it.
Since it's going to be so packed full, this will be our first two-parter. Join us next week for part 2. So before we jump in, let's quickly discuss last week's challenge. It was to ask a relative or friend to tell you a story about their childhood. I hope you all did that and learned something new about a special person in your life. If you want to share your story with us, feel free to message us on Instagram at KidPackWithJackAttack. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, today's show is all about
inventions.
Yep, today's episode is all about inventions.
An invention is something that someone comes up with that hasn't been made before. It's an idea of something new that can do something cool or helpful.
Inventors use their imaginations and creativity to come up with new ideas which can help people solve problems, have fun, or make things easier. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be diving deep into some of the most amazing inventions we rely on every day, all the way to the worst inventions ever made.
Bizarre inventions, mistake inventions, inventions made by kids,
and even inventions that were almost canceled, but are now a huge part of our everyday life. Sit back, relax, get ready to be wowed, inspired, and maybe a little weirded out.
Let's dive in.
Riddle time!
We're going to ask you the riddle now. And as always, we will tell you the answer at the end of the episode. This week's riddle is...
What do they call the guy who invented denim pants?
Stick around for the answer at the end of the episode.
2 truths and a lie. Today we're playing 2 truths and a lie. For this segment, we're going to discuss some of the most bizarre inventions I've ever heard of. I'm going to name 2 real inventions and 1 fake one. Let's see if you can guess the fake. First group is going to be all water-related inventions. All right, we have number 1, dolphin fin swimming accessory. This is an invention to swim in the wild with dolphins. It's a fin to be attached to your back that wraps around your waist like a belt. Number 2, aquatic propulsion device. This is basically a harness with 2 small oars attached on each side. You can grab the oars with your hands and use it to paddle. Or number 3, a water bug flotation device. This is a backpack invented that's filled with air to let you float on the water on your stomach so you can look down with your goggles while you float along. Which one of those 3 is made up, Jack? The dolphin fin, the oars attached to a harness, or the water bug?
I think it's the water bug.
That's right, that's made up. Can you believe that they actually made a fin intended for you to swim with dolphins in the wild?
Actually, I kind of can. Some people are weird.
Well, I mean, I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know how the fin would help you. The next group relates to the mouth. Again, I'm going to say 2 real inventions and 1 made-up invention. Okay, we have number 1, the anti-eating face mask. This is kind of like the masks we all wore for COVID, but it doesn't cover your nose. It covers your mouth and chin and helps to keep the person on a diet not eating. Or number 2, the metal teeth protector. This was a metal tooth covering to use when chewing food so you don't damage your own teeth below it. You could even use it to crack crab legs open. Or 3, a kissing shield. This looked like a heart-shaped lollipop which was made of a thin material. You could push it against your lips and kiss someone on the other side to not pass germs to one another. Which one's made up? The anti-eating face mask, metal teeth protector, or the kissing shield?
I'm having a little bit of a difficult time with this one. but I think it's the kissing face mask.
That is actually real. It's really weird. And literally all of these inventions that you guys are curious about, you should go and look them up. They're so weird to look at. Okay, so the fake one here is actually the metal teeth protector. I made that up. The anti-eating face mask and kissing shield are real. All right, the next group is related to animals. Number 1, the cat fur eliminator. This is an invention of a cat bed with 2-sided tape on it. The cats lay on it, therefore leaving hair when they get up. You would also be able to toss it and put a new piece of paper on it when it gets full. 2, a clock for keeping time at the rate other than human. So if you've ever heard that a dog year is 7 years, it means a dog ages differently than we do. So therefore, they tell time differently than we do. So this inventor created a watch for animals, and it allows the user to change it for different types of animals. Or number 3, snake repellent system. This is shaped like a watch and is to be worn on your arm or leg of a hiker. It's full of smells that snakes don't like and is meant to keep them away. Which is the lie? Is it the cat fur eliminator, the clock for dogs and other animals, or the snake repellent system?
I think it's the cat fur eliminator. I feel like that would be a little harsh, and the other 2 ones kind of make sense.
That's right, I made that one up. But, I mean, anybody who owns cats knows their fur can be a real problem. So come on, somebody get on this. All right, the next group relates to clothing and accessories. This one's going to be hard for you. All right, ready? Number 1, toe puppet. This is a tiny elastic cap that fits tightly over a toe. A figurine sits on top of the cap. So as you walk, the toe moves with each step, causing the figurine to move with it because it is supported by a flexible neck, and it oscillates back and forth. Or 2, 3-legged pantyhose. Now, it's not common to have 3 legs. However, this inventor thought it is really frustrating when you get a hole in one of your pantyhose. So you could pull the 3rd leg out of a hidden pocket and use it instead of tossing the pair. For anybody who doesn't know, pantyhose are stockings that some women wear. Number 3, the Grow With Me helmet. This is a helmet that was invented that had a belt loop around it where you could tighten it to keep it snug on your head. So you could use it when you're younger and older. All right, Jack, which out of those 3 is the lie? The toe puppet, 3-legged pantyhose, or the Grow With Me helmet?
I think the 3-legged pantyhose.
That's real. So actually, I made up the helmet because I didn't find that anywhere. But there were some helmet inventions, but none that I saw that had a belt loop. All right, the last group is for the yard. Okay, number 1, a pedal-operated mower. So this looks like a kid's tricycle, but on the back it has cutting blades. So you can ride around your yard and cut your grass at the same time. Number 2, a device for moistening the adhesive coating on postage stamps and envelopes. So it looks like a little box with lips and a button on top. And when you push down the button, the lips open and a fake tongue comes out, and you can use it to lick the postage stamps or envelopes. Then you don't have to do it yourself and get the yucky taste. Or 3, bracelet that holds utensils during cooking process. So this looks like a thick bracelet that's sizable to anyone's wrist. And when you have nowhere to set your utensil down, you can clip it into the bracelet loop. It comes with 4. So which of those 3 is made up? The pedal-operated mower, the tongue that can lick your envelope, or the bracelet to hold your utensils?
I think the utensil bracelet. That one just sounds ridiculous.
You're right. And I cannot believe you did not choose the device for licking envelopes. I encourage everybody to go and look that up. It's absolutely wild. Okay, and here are some honorable mentions that I had to tell you about because they are just too bizarre not to.
Number 1, the tush push.
So the official name was Device for Assisting Infirm Persons. So this is a device to assist elderly people up the stairs. It has a large, soft section, like the back of a chair, with 2 handles on each side. So you stand behind the person and hold the handles, pushing them upwards. I just think it would be really like annoying to walk around with this pusher just so you could help people. What do you think?
Number 2, the Pest Fest.
So the official name of this is the Pet Display Clothing. This is a piece of clothing for transporting and displaying small pets while worn by a person. It has tubes for rodents, gerbils, and mice that go all around the front and back of the vest. So I assume the tubes are clear and you can see the animals. It's hard to tell in the picture because it's just a drawing, but I think that's quite interesting. I would hope they remember to take the pet out when they get home.
Number 3, Pool Peddler.
Official name for this invention is Exercise Kit for Personal Flotation Device. So someone was using their noodle, that is their pool noodle, when they invented this one. So everyone knows what a pool noodle is. Now imagine it having bike handles at the top for your arms. So you sit on it with the top just resting slightly out of the water. There's a place to rest your feet and you propel yourself moving forward with the bike handles. So you give your arm a workout while you're sitting on your bum.
Number 4, the Human Pin Cushion.
Well, this is actually the Shark Protector Suit. It's basically a rubber suit full of spikes coming out from the body. For example, from the helmet, the front, the back, arms, legs, glove, and shoe. So the thought process was that the shark would not be able to get past the pain of biting you.
Even in the water, what if 2 kids are like playing like catch and then the one kid bumps into you?
Well, luckily I don't think this really took off because I've never seen this, in like National Geographic pictures.
Number 5, the Urban Window Baby Cage.
All right, so I have seen pictures of this before, and I would have thought this was made up if I had not seen it and read about it. So this was a bed in a wire cage that's suspended from city apartment windows. It was also called the health cage. It was invented by a doctor to provide babies with fresh air and sunshine while living in crowded cities. And they were used heavily from 1922 to 1940, and then they never made a comeback. But that's a good one to look up.
Number 6, the Dynasphere.
All right. This was a monowheel electric vehicle invented in 1932 by Dr. J.A. Purves in the UK. It had 2.5 horsepower and once attained a speed of 25 miles per hour. You have got to look up a picture of this. It looks like a giant car tire with 1 or 2 people sitting inside. It looks absolutely wild. In fact, I'm going to pull it up here so Jack can see it now. And you can get his reaction.
I don't really know how to describe it. It looks like a cage.
Like
a tire cage. Yeah, it looks like a tire cage. It's so weird looking.
Yeah, I definitely think y'all should look that up. The Dynasphere. All right.
Number 7. User-operated amusement apparatus for kicking the user's buttocks.
Yeah, so if you wanted to kick yourself in the butt, there was a machine that could do that for you. This was created in the year 2000. 2000! This is only 23 years ago. So you stand and crank a wheel, and behind you, another wheel moves with 3 feet on it, and they go around and around kicking you in the butt. I literally cannot make this stuff up.
Mistake invention.
All right, we're going to devote this next segment to discussion on some inventions that were actually created completely by mistake.
Number 1, chocolate chip cookies.
That's right. One of the world's favorite desserts was created completely by accident. Okay, Jack, any idea how Ruth Wakefield would accidentally create this?
I really don't have a clue on how you would accidentally create chocolate chip cookies.
So she was making regular chocolate cookies when she ran out of baker's chocolate. So as a substitute, she broke sweetened chocolate into small pieces and added them to the cookie dough. She thought they were going to melt, but they didn't, resulting in the creation of chocolate chip cookies. So I guess when she uses baker's chocolate and mixes it all together, the entire cookie becomes chocolate. So this is how chocolate chip cookies came about.
Number 2, the Slinky.
We all know of the Slinky as a beloved toy that is a metal spring that you can send down the stairs and it will go step by step. Or you can toss it back and forth in your hands, making it fold from one hand to the other. But this wasn't what it was intended for. Any idea what you think Richard Jones was inventing this for, Jack?
Maybe I think that he might have just been trying to make like a very flexible spring that could work for jobs that needed something flexible, and then maybe he like dropped it and realized that might be a fun toy.
Did you know this?
I had no clue. That was a complete guess.
Well, it was really good. So he was making a meter that was designed to monitor power on naval battleships. So Jones was working with tension springs when one of them fell to the ground. And the spring kept bouncing from place to place after it hit the ground, and the Slinky was born.
Number 3, the Pacemaker.
A pacemaker is like a tiny computer that helps your heart beat in a regular way. John Hopps, an electrical engineer, created this. He wasn't trying to make it to make heartbeats regular. What do you think he was trying to make it for?
I have no clue on this one. Something medical.
Well, you're right about that. So Hopps was conducting research on hypothermia and attempting to restore body temperature using radio frequency heating. And during the experience, he discovered that if cooling caused a heart to stop beating, it could be restarted with artificial stimulation. And this led to the invention of the pacemaker. And a lot of people depend on this.
Number 4, microwave ovens.
All right, so we use microwaves pretty much every day. Percy Spencer invented them. But what do you suppose he was trying to make?
Again, no clue on this one.
So Percy was conducting a radar project with a new vacuum tube. During the experiment, he noticed that the candy bar in his pocket had melted. He then put popcorn in the machine, and when it started to pop, he realized he had created a revolutionary device.
Number 5, penicillin.
So most of us have heard of this, but if you haven't, it's a very common antibiotic that your doctor may give to you when you're sick. Any idea what Alexander Fleming was trying to make when he accidentally created this powerful antibiotic?
Again, I have no clue, but probably something medical.
Yeah, he was searching for a cure-all drug when he accidentally discovered penicillin. So while studying bacteria, he discovered that a contaminated petri dish he had thrown away contained a mold that was dissolving all the bacteria around it. The mold turned out to be penicillin, a powerful antibiotic.
Number 6, potato chips.
Another favorite treat on here. Can you imagine a world with no potato chips? What was George Crumb trying to do when he made potato chips?
I'm pretty sure if I'm right, he had his own restaurant, and there was a very picky customer that he served French fries. And the picky customer said that the French fries were way too thick. And he kept on complaining about things. So he in the end got annoyed. So he did something trying to be rude in a way, and he cut the French fries so thin that they were like as thin as paper. And then potato chips were born.
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I thought maybe you knew that one. Crumb was a chef at a restaurant and was asked by a customer to make thinner and crispier fried potatoes several times. And Crumb lost his temper and he sliced them very thin until they were hard as a rock. And he was surprised that the customer loved them and asked for more. And voila, potato chips.
I actually learned about that in school. We went to a different class with a different teacher, and they actually taught us that. It was actually really interesting and fun.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun thing to learn in school. Definitely would get my attention.
Number 7, silly putty.
Silly putty, that fun, waxy putty you get in an egg shape, and you used to be able to copy comics and the newspaper on it. If you don't know what silly putty is, ask your parents to get you some. All right, so what was James Wright trying to invent when he accidentally invented silly putty?
I have no clue.
All right, well, during the World War II, the U.S. government needed rubber, but Wright tried to create a substitute using silicone. And during a test, boric acid was added to the silicone oil, which resulted in a bouncy, gooey mess. Although it had no practical use, it became a fun toy.
Number 8, saccharin.
So this was the first artificial sweetener. So instead of using regular sugar, this was created in a lab. Konstantin Fallberg was the creator. What do you think he was doing, Jack?
I have no clue.
Well, I don't either because I can read it, but I don't know what it means. So he was researching the oxidation of O-toluenesulfonamide, whatever that means. And one day, he forgot to wash his hands after spilling the chemicals on them, and he noticed his bread tasted very sweet, leading him to discover a new sweetener. He patented and mass-produced the product. So this worries me, because imagine if he was using something that could have been harmful that he ingested. He forgot to wash his hands.
Number 9, Post-it notes.
These are the little sticky squares of paper you can write notes on and post anywhere. What do you think the scientist, Dr. Spencer Silver, was trying to make?
Like paper?
So it actually is quite interesting. He was trying to develop a super strong adhesive when he actually developed an incredibly weak adhesive in 1968. His colleague, Arthur Fry, came up with the idea of using it on a bookmark to prevent papers from falling out of his books at church. So together they developed Post-it notes, which became a popular product after a successful market test in 1979. So 11 years later. So it took 11 years after he found this weak adhesive until they turned it into Post-it notes. What does that tell you?
Never give up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to get at.
Number 10, bubble wrap.
So this is really funny. Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavanis, they invented bubble wrap. They invented it on purpose, but when they made it, they intended to use the product as something else. So they did not intend to use it for shipping or packaging. What do you think they would have made bubble wrap for, Jack?
A toy?
That makes way more sense than what they actually did. They wanted to use it as wallpaper. Can you imagine? People would walk in your house and they would just be like, pop, 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 pop.
Then I would have a reason to punch the wall.
Yeah, that people would be punching walls. So anyway, when their bubbly wallpaper proved to be unsuccessful, they decided to pivot and market their product instead as greenhouse insulation. So they were trying to insulate greenhouses, and that didn't work. So then they decided to use it in 1960 as protective packaging. So it turns out sometimes people discover really cool things by accident, and these discoveries have helped us in big ways. It's important to remember that sometimes new things can happen just by chance. So let's keep our minds open, because who knows what awesome discoveries might happen next.
Would you rather?
Welcome to Would You Rather?
The game where we ask you to pick one of the two options and explain why.
Number 1, would you rather invent a time machine or a teleportation device? So this is tough because they both have their pros and cons. So think on this a second, Jack. What do you think you would pick?
I think I would pick the teleportation device only because the time machine could mess with all the time periods and things, and that's not a good thing, as movies always say. So I feel like teleportation would be better. I know that you could probably do a ton of crimes with teleportation, but just make sure to give it to the right people.
Okay, so you're saying like the butterfly effect. If you go back in time and you change things, it changes the whole future?
Yeah, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Well, I would agree with you. I don't know. This is really hard. And honestly, I think I would choose the time machine. I hear what you're saying, but I grew up in the 1980s, and I just feel like it was just such a nice time to grow up, and I would probably go right back there. All right, number 2. Would you rather invent a machine that can travel through the ocean depth or a spacecraft that can explore the farthest reaches of space? This is tough for me because I'm definitely more curious about the ocean. But it scares me. Like, it terrifies me.
Yeah, I would say the ocean, but I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, well, we're just inventing the machine. So I think that I would probably go with the ocean. machine and then have like the machine go down with cameras so I could experience it, but not actually like go there.
Agreed. I would hate that.
So is that what you would choose? The machine to travel through the ocean or the space?
Ocean.
All right. Number 3. Would you rather invent a medicine that cures all diseases or a magical elevator that takes you anywhere you want to go whenever you go on it?
The pill. That could help like every single person in humanity.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was curious to see if you would choose that one or if you would choose the one that benefited just you. But yeah, I would definitely choose the medicine that cures all diseases because that would also cure diseases for me. All right, listeners, let us know what you would have picked. We would love to hear from you.
Advice from an inventor.
Welcome back to my favorite segment, Advice from an Inventor. Listen up, because these guys and gals know what they are talking about.
Number 1, never give up.
Persistence is key in the world of inventing, and many inventors have faced numerous setbacks and failures. However, they persevered and continued to push forward, which eventually led them to success.
Number 2, embrace failure.
Inventing can be a trial and error process, and not every idea will work out. Inventors should see failures as valuable learning experiences rather than setbacks.
Number 3, keep learning.
The world is constantly changing, and inventors must keep up with the latest technologies and advancements to stay ahead. Continuous learning is essential for success.
Number 4, stay open-minded.
Inventors should keep an open mind and be willing to explore new ideas and perspectives. Collaborating with others and seeking feedback from others can help refine and improve your invention.
Number 5, believe in your ideas.
Inventors must have confidence in their ideas and be able to pitch them effectively to others, even if others don't initially see the potential of an idea. A strong belief in its potential can lead to success.
I think we can all agree with that. Rise to the challenge.
And now it's time for our weekly self-improvement challenges. Each week, we give you 2 challenges because we're always working on being the best humans we can be.
This week, your first challenge is the stretch.
Try to stretch at least 3 days this week.
Stretching has multiple benefits that help keep our bodies strong and healthy.
Among these benefits are improved flexibility, injury prevention, stress reduction, improved posture, and increased strength. By stretching regularly, we can enjoy these benefits and maintain our body's health over time.
Your second challenge this week is to use the mantra, I make good choices.
You may want to use the mantra, I make good choices, when you need to remind yourself to make the right decision, especially when you are faced with a difficult decision or a tempting situation. This mantra can be used in situations where you're trying to do the right thing, even if it is the harder choice. By using this mantra, you can reinforce positive decision-making habits and feel more confident in your ability to make good choices.
We think this is going to make your week a little better. Riddle time! Okay, have you figured out the answer to this week's riddle? This week's riddle is, what do they call a guy who invented denim pants?
A genius! Thank you all for listening today. We love spending time with our pack members. Don't forget to stop in next week to hear the second part episode all about inventions.
Next week, we'll be talking about kid inventions. Tell all your friends.
We hope you enjoyed all these cool inventions we learned about today.
Don't forget to keep learning and having fun.
We'll see you next week. Until then, keep being awesome. See you later, alligator.
See you soon, raccoon.